Alright guys, here we go. Today we are going to be dividing again, continuing yesterday's introduction lesson. So today I can divide up to a 4-digit dividend by a 1-digit divisor using the standard algorithm. And today we won't have any remainders like we did yesterday. The next lesson we will discuss remainders again. So let's go ahead and get started. So our first question, the first thing I want to talk about is those big vocabulary words that we discussed. Alright, so first of all we have our dividend. Now the dividend in division is the number that we are dividing. Okay, the number that is divided or broken into groups. It's also the large number in a division problem. Alright? It's the big number. And it's the one that's underneath the division bar. So if I had a division problem, 1,267 would be my dividend. It's the number that I am dividing. I'm the one I'm breaking into smaller pieces. Okay? The divisor is the number we are dividing by. Okay, that is the size of the group. So in this problem, 4 is the size of the group. I'm making groups of 4. It is the divisor. And it's usually the small number. Okay? And then the quotient, we know the quotient is the answer to a division question or problem. Okay? So why do we divide instead of use repeated subtraction? The easy answer there is it's the most efficient way to be a mathematician. It's a shortcut, so to speak. Remember, mathematicians are always looking for shorter ways to solve long problems. Okay, so let's continue. So last year you guys did partial quotients, all right? And in 5th grade we're not going to do partial quotients anymore. Partial quotients, remember, if I had 95, I won't make groups of 4. Well, if I take 10 groups of 4, that gives me 40. If I subtract that, 95 minus 40, I get 55. Well, now I've got 55. So, how many groups of 4 can I make from 55? Let's try 10 more groups. Well, 10 more groups gives me 40 more. Subtract that, now I've got 15. How many groups of 4 can I make from 15? Well, 3 groups of 4 gives me 12. Subtract that, I've got 3. I can't make any groups of 4 from 3, so then 3 becomes my remainder. Now, this is a more elementary way of doing it. It does work the same, but it's not as efficient as the algorithm. Okay, so we won't be using the partial products anymore. So we're going to use the standard algorithm, alright? So remember, the steps I taught you: divide, multiply, subtract, check, bring down, rewrite, repeat, or we have remainder. Alright? Here, the acronym, remember, Drive My Super Cool Buggy Rudolph. Insert any name with an R there. It's okay. So we're going to go ahead and practice, and I want you to use all the steps that I use, okay? So let's go ahead and start. So the first thing I'm going to do is write my steps. Drive my super cool buggy Rudolph. Alright? So D stands for divide. Can I make a group of 4 out of 1? Well, the answer to that question is no. 1 is not enough to make a group of 4, so that's a 0. So I move to the next digit, 10. How many groups of 4 can I make from 10? Well, if I count by 4s, 4, 8, 12. 12 is too many, so go back. So 2 groups gives me, multiply, 4 times 2 gives me 8. Next step is to subtract. 10 minus 8 is 2. Alright, so let's check it. Is 2 less than 4? My remainder is less than 4. Absolutely, my remainder is less than my divisor. So I can continue with the next step, which is bring down. I'll bring down that 5. Okay? The R, repeat, or rewrite the divisor, or repeat the process. In this case, we rewrite the divisor first, now repeat the process. Alright? How many groups of 4 can I make from 65? Go back to the divide. 4 times 4 is 16, 4 times 5 is 20, 4 times 6 is 24. That's really close, so I'll say 6 groups. I multiply, 4 times 6 gives me 24. Alright? I made 6 more groups of 4 to give me 24. And now next step is to subtract them. 25 minus 24 gives me 1. Next step is to check, is 1 less than 4? The answer is absolutely yes. So the next step is bring down the 2. Now, rewrite my divisor, repeat the process. How many groups of 4 can I make from 12? If I count by 4s, 4, 8, 12, that's 3 groups. Divided, check, now multiply. 4 times 3. 4 groups of 3 gives me 12. Subtract, 12 minus 12 is 0. Check, is 0 less than 4? The answer is yes. Bring down, there's nothing left to bring down. I've got no remainder, so my quotient is 263. Alright? One important thing to remember, the number of groups you're making is always on top of the division bar. The number of groups. How do I check my answer? I take my quotient, 263, I multiply it by my divisor, 4, and that should give me my dividend. 4 times 3 is 12, 4 times 6 is 24, plus 1 is 25, 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10. 1052, 1052, it matches. Okay? Alright, I know that went pretty quickly. Remember, you can always rewind it and watch it again until you kind of get it. Let's try another one. 1,228 divided by 2. Now, I know for a fact I won't have a remainder. I'm dividing an even number by an even number, an even number by 2. And I know I will not have a remainder there. So my first step is to write my rules, drive my super cool buggy Rudolph. Alright, let's go ahead and go through the process. How many groups of 2 can I make from 1? Well, if I have 1, I cannot have a group of 2, so that's 0. Go to the next digit, 12. How many groups of 2 can I make from 12? Well, 2 times 6, I think, 2 times 6. Multiply, 2 times 6 is 12. Subtract, 12 minus 12 is 0. Check it, is 0 less than 2? That's absolutely correct, so let's bring down the 2, rewrite my divisor, and repeat the process. How many groups of 2 can I make from 2? Well, it's pretty simple, 1 group. Multiply, 2 times 1 is 2. Subtract, 2 take away 2 is 0. Check, is 0 less than 2? Absolutely. Bring down the next digit, which is an 8. Check. Rewrite the divisor, repeat the process. Count by 2s, 2, 4, 6, 8. That's 4 groups. I can make 4 groups. Multiply, 2 times 4 gives me 8. Subtract, 8 take away 8 is 0. Check it, is 0 less than 2? Yes it is. Bring down, there's nothing else to bring down. So 614 becomes my quotient. How do I check that? 614 times 2. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 6 is 12. 1,228, 1,228. So we are correct there. Alright? It does take a little bit of time, guys, but if you follow the steps, drive my super cool buggy Rudolph, go step by step, remembering the key things. Remainder must be less than my divisor. The number of groups is always on top of the division bar. We will be fine. Alright, we'll do one more, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay? So, 1,371 divided by 3. So, first thing is, drive my super cool buggy Rudolph. Start with divide. How many groups of 3 can I make from 1? If I have 1, I cannot make a group of 3, so that's 0. Go to the next digit, 13. How many groups of 3 can I make from 13? So if I count by 3s, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 is too much. Let's go to 12, so 1, 2, 3, 4 groups. Now let's multiply. 3 times 4 gives me 12. Okay, let's see what I just did. 3 groups of 4. Remember, my number of groups is on top of my division bar. This is my number of groups. So I've got 4 groups of 3 gives me 12. Next step is to subtract. 13 minus 12 is 1. Okay? Check it. Is 1 my remainder less than my divisor? Absolutely. I'm good there. Next step is to bring down the 7, the next digit. rewrite the divisor, divided by 3, repeat the process, go back to the top, divide. How many groups of 3 can I make from 17? Well, if I count by 3's again, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. 18 is too much, so go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups of 3, multiply. 3 times 5 gives me 15, subtract 17 minus 15 is 2. Check it, 2 is less than 3, that's correct. Rewrite the divisor, repeat the process, bring down the 1. Divide again, how many groups of 3 can I make from 21? Okay, count by 3, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 19, 20, 21, exactly 21. So how many groups is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 groups. Multiply, 3 times 7 is 21. Subtract, 21 take away 21 is 0. Check, is 0 less than my divisor 3? Correct. Anything else to bring down? Nope. So I am done. I check it, 457 times 3. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 5 is 15 plus 2, 17. 3 times 4 is 12 plus 1, 15. 1,571. Uh-oh, did I make a mistake? Oh, I did. 3 times 4 is 12 plus 1 is 13. There's my mistake. 1,371, that is correct. Okay? Alright, so you have your homework. You can start working on your problems, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Good luck. Remember, rewind the video, rewatch it if you need to rewatch it. No harm, no foul. Take your time. Remember the steps. Drive my super cool Buggy Rudolph. The number of groups go on top. The remainder can never be larger than your divisor. Alright? Good luck, guys.